Rejection will meet you at every level of your life. It will come quietly sometimes, and other times it will hit you so hard that it shakes your confidence, your identity, even your dreams. And I want you to know this first. Rejection is not proof that you are not enough. It is proof that you dared to try. Most people never even get rejected because they never step forward. You did. That already makes you brave. There were moments in my life when doors closed so firmly that I questioned myself. I wondered if I was asking for too much, dreaming too big, standing in places I didn't belong. But here's the truth I learned. Rejection is not the universe pushing you away. It is life testing how badly you want what you say you want. It asks one simple question. Will you quit or will you grow? When rejection comes, don't shrink. Don't apologize for your ambition. Sit with the discomfort, learn from it, and then stand taller. Every rejection carries information. It shows you where to improve, where to evolve, where to become stronger. If you let it, rejection will train your mind, toughen your heart, and sharpen your focus. Stop seeking permission to believe in yourself. The world will not always clap for you when you begin. Sometimes it will doubt you, sometimes it will ignore you, and sometimes it will reject you outright. That is when self-belief becomes non-negotiable. You must be the loudest voice in your own life. You must choose yourself even when no one else does. Turn the pain into fuel. Turn the silence into discipline. Turn the disappointment into determination. Let rejection teach you resilience, patience, and self-respect. Because one day you will look back and realize that the rejection you cried over was the moment you were being prepared for something bigger. Remember this. Your value does not decrease because someone failed to see it. Your journey is not delayed because someone said no. You are not behind. You are becoming. Keep showing up. Keep refining your craft. Keep believing, especially on the days when belief feels hard. Rejection didn't come to break you. It came to build the version of you that cannot be ignored. Rejection will meet you again and again on your journey, and it will never arrive at a convenient moment. It shows up when you are hopeful, when you are vulnerable, when you have given your best and expected something in return. And when it comes, it hurts. It makes you question your talent, your choices, and sometimes even your self-worth. But let me tell you something with absolute certainty. Rejection is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are in motion, that you are brave enough to put yourself out there and demand more from life. I have learned that rejection is not personal, even when it feels deeply personal. It is not a judgment of who you are, but a reflection of where you are in that moment. Too often we let one no become a story about our entire future. We let one closed door convince us that we don't belong in the room. But growth begins the moment you refuse to let rejection define your limits. Growth begins when you decide that this moment will strengthen you. Instead of shrinking you, there will be days when you feel invisible, unheard, or underestimated. On those days, your relationship with yourself matters more than any external validation. You must learn to stand in your own belief, even when no one else is clapping for you. Confidence is not built when everything goes right. It is built when things fall apart and you still choose to continue. That choice, repeated over time, becomes unshakable strength. Use rejection as a mirror, not a verdict. Ask yourself what you can learn, what you can refine, and how you can rise sharper than before. Pain has an incredible ability to teach if you allow it to. It builds resilience, discipline, and emotional intelligence. The people who succeed are not the ones who never faced rejection, but the ones who refuse to let it harden their hearts or silence their dreams. There is power in persistence. There is dignity in showing up again after you've been told you don't belong. Every time you rise after rejection, you send a message to yourself that you are stronger than circumstances. And that message changes everything. It changes how you walk into rooms, how you speak about your dreams, and how you face uncertainty. One day, the very rejection that made you doubt yourself will become the reason you trust yourself more deeply. You will see that it redirected you, prepared you, and built the courage you needed for what was coming next. So don't fear rejection. Let it shape you, teach you, and toughen you. Because when you turn rejection into strength, nothing in the world can stop you from becoming who you are meant to be. Rejection is one of the hardest lessons life teaches us, but it is also one of the most powerful. It has a way of arriving when you least expect it, in moments when you feel most ready to succeed, or when you have invested your heart and soul into a dream. The initial sting of being turned away can feel unbearable, as if the universe itself is telling you that you are not enough. But the truth is far from that. Rejection is never a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of the timing, the circumstances, and sometimes of someone else's limitations. It is life's way of testing your commitment, your courage, and your ability to keep going when the world seems to say no. Every time you encounter rejection, it presents a choice: to shrink in fear or to rise stronger than ever. When rejection hits, it is normal to feel disappointed, frustrated, or even lost. These emotions are valid, and acknowledging them is essential. However, the key lies in how you respond. You can choose to allow rejection to define you, to make you doubt your dreams and question your path, or you can choose to let it fuel your growth. Each no carries a lesson, a hidden insight about your journey, about your preparation, or about the areas where you can improve. If you learn to listen to those lessons, rejection becomes a guide, not an obstacle. It becomes a tool that refines your skills, strengthens your character, and deepens your resilience. The stronger your mindset, the more you can transform rejection into opportunity. Confidence in yourself is non-negotiable. The world will not always recognize your talent or applaud your efforts. Sometimes people will doubt you, underestimate you, or even actively try to stop you. In those moments, self-belief is the only thing that matters. When you cultivate an inner voice that is louder than any external criticism, you create a foundation that rejection cannot shake. Your value does not decrease because someone else failed to see it, and your dreams are not delayed because someone else is not ready to embrace them. What matters is your persistence, your courage, and your ability to keep moving forward despite setbacks. Pain, disappointment, and rejection are not enemies, they are teachers. They are the forces that push you out of your comfort zone, that demand creativity, resilience, and adaptability. Each rejection is a test of how committed you are to your vision. The people who succeed are not those who avoided rejection. They are those who faced it, learned from it, and refused to let it break them. Over time, rejection becomes less frightening and more familiar. It becomes a signal that you are trying, growing, and stepping into new possibilities. Ultimately, turning rejection into strength is about mindset. It is about embracing challenges as opportunities, trusting yourself even when others do not, and understanding that every setback is preparing you for something greater. When you can internalize this truth, rejection stops being a barrier and starts being a stepping stone. Your resilience grows, your courage deepens, and your determination becomes unstoppable. Life will continue to test you, but each no will remind you of your strength, your potential, and your ability to rise higher than ever before. Rejection can feel like a heavy weight pressing down on your shoulders, making you question everything about yourself and your path. It can come from a job opportunity you dreamed of, a relationship you hoped would last, or even from people whose approval you silently sought. The first instinct is often to feel defeated, to think that somehow you weren't good enough, or that your efforts were wasted. But rejection is not the enemy. It is a necessary part of growth, a signal that you are stepping out of your comfort zone, and a chance to discover the depths of your own resilience. Every person who has achieved something meaningful has faced rejection, and the difference between those who succeed and those who give up is how they respond to it. You have to see rejection not as a full stop, but as a comma, a pause that allows you to reassess, adapt, and move forward with even greater clarity. When you experience rejection, it is natural to feel discouraged. You might replay the situation over and over in your mind, trying to understand what went wrong or why it happened. Instead of letting it trap you, use it as a mirror to examine your approach, your mindset, and your readiness. What can this moment teach you? How can it make you stronger, smarter, and more prepared for the next challenge? Every rejection carries valuable lessons, and those who choose to learn from them gain an advantage over those who never dare to face it. It is in these moments of discomfort that true growth occurs, because growth never happens when life is easy or predictable. It happens when we are pushed to our limits and are forced to find strength we didn't know we had. Self-belief becomes your greatest weapon when rejection comes. You must cultivate a confidence that is unshakable, one that does not depend on external approval. The world will not always recognize your value, and people may not always support your vision. That is why it is essential to trust yourself, your abilities, and your potential. When you do this, rejection loses its power to derail you, because your identity and your purpose are not determined by someone else's judgment. You continue to move forward because you know your worth and you are committed to your journey no matter the obstacles. Pain and disappointment are inevitable, but they are not permanent. They are tools that shape you, strengthen your character, and clarify your priorities. Each rejection is an invitation to refine your approach, to persevere with greater focus, and to embrace resilience as a core part of who you are. Over time, you begin to see rejection as a teacher, not a punishment. It is a challenge that trains you for the bigger opportunities that lie ahead. The more you embrace it, the more empowered you become because you realize that rejection does not define your story, your response to it does. By turning rejection into strength, you transform obstacles into stepping stones and setbacks into fuel for your ultimate success. Rejection is one of the most challenging experiences we face in life, yet it is also one of the most transformative. It comes unexpectedly, sometimes from people we trust, opportunities we desire, or dreams we have nurtured for years. At first, it can feel like a harsh judgment, a reflection of our inadequacy, or proof that we are not meant to succeed. But the reality is that rejection is not about your worth. It is about growth, timing, and perspective. Every rejection is a message that life is asking you to pause, reflect, and prepare for something greater. It is a signal that you are daring to step beyond your comfort zone, that you are taking risks that many others avoid, and that you are committed to pursuing your goals even in the face of uncertainty. When rejection arrives, it often brings with it a storm of emotions, disappointment, frustration, and sometimes even self-doubt. These feelings are natural, and it is important to acknowledge them without letting them control you. The key is to understand that rejection is temporary, but the lessons it offers are permanent. Each no carries insights into how you can improve, how you can approach situations differently, or how you can strengthen your mindset. Those who learn to interpret rejection as feedback rather than failure gain an incredible advantage because they convert moments of discouragement into opportunities for growth and self-improvement. One of the most powerful tools in dealing with rejection is self-belief. Your confidence must come from within, independent of the opinions of others. The world will not always recognize your talent or applaud your efforts. Sometimes people will misunderstand your vision, overlook your abilities, or judge you unfairly. In those moments, your inner conviction becomes essential. When you trust yourself deeply, rejection loses its power to define you. Your value is not determined by someone else's acknowledgement, and your journey is not dictated by a single setback. Each time you rise after rejection, you reinforce your resilience and prove to yourself that you are capable of enduring challenges and continuing forward. Rejection also teaches patience and perseverance. It reminds us that success is not always immediate, that progress is often incremental, and that every attempt, successful or not, contributes to the development of our character. By embracing rejection as a natural part of the journey, you cultivate mental strength and emotional intelligence. You learn to detach your identity from external outcomes, to focus on effort rather than validation, and to see obstacles as stepping stones rather than barriers. Over time, what once felt like a defeat becomes a source of motivation, pushing you to work harder, refine your skills, and approach your goals with renewed determination. Ultimately, turning rejection into strength is about perspective and action. It is about choosing to see every closed door as redirection, every disappointment as preparation, and every setback as an opportunity to rise higher. When you embrace rejection as part of your growth, you transform fear into courage, pain into resilience, and doubt into determination. Life will continue to present challenges, but each rejection will no longer be a stopping point. It will be a reminder of your strength, your perseverance, and your unstoppable potential. By learning to navigate rejection with grace and purpose, you not only move closer to your dreams, but you also become the person capable of achieving them. Rejection is one of life's most powerful teachers, even though it often feels like one of the harshest. It can strike at the moments when you feel most ready, when your dreams seem within reach, or when you have given everything you have to an opportunity. The initial sting of rejection is hard to ignore. It can make you question your abilities, your choices, and sometimes even your purpose. But the truth is that rejection does not define you. It is not a measure of your worth or your potential. It is a signal that you are stepping into uncharted territory, that you are challenging yourself, and that you are pushing the limits of what you thought was possible. Every rejection carries a lesson, and the most successful people are those who take those lessons and use them as stepping stones toward growth. When rejection arrives, it often comes with a wave of emotions: disappointment, sadness, anger, or self-doubt. These feelings are normal, but they should not be allowed to become permanent. You must acknowledge them, feel them, and then decide how to respond. The true power lies in choosing to see rejection not as an end, but as an opportunity for self-improvement. Each closed door, each no, and each missed chance provides insight into your journey. It shows you areas to refine, skills to develop, and perspectives to shift. The more you embrace rejection as a learning tool, the more resilient and capable you become. Self-belief is the cornerstone of overcoming rejection. No one else's opinion can determine your value or your potential. The world will not always recognize your talent, your ideas, or your ambition. Sometimes people will doubt you, underestimate you, or fail to understand your vision. In those moments, the relationship you have with yourself matters more than any external validation. Confidence must come from within, rooted in the knowledge of your strengths, your efforts, and your commitment to your goals. When you believe in yourself unconditionally, rejection cannot derail your progress because your identity is anchored in your own understanding of your worth. Rejection also teaches patience, persistence, and perspective. It reminds us that meaningful success is rarely immediate, and that growth often comes through struggle. Each time you experience rejection and continue moving forward, you are strengthening your resilience and reinforcing your determination. Pain and disappointment, when approached with the right mindset, are tools for personal development. They sharpen your focus, deepen your emotional intelligence, and prepare you for opportunities that are greater than what you could have imagined. Over time, rejection no longer feels like a threat. It becomes a teacher, a guide that directs you toward the path that aligns with your purpose. Ultimately, turning rejection into strength is about mindset and action. It is about learning to see every no as redirection, every setback as preparation, and every closed door as a lesson. By embracing rejection and choosing to rise above it, you convert obstacles into opportunities and challenges into fuel for growth. Life will continue to test your resolve, but each experience of rejection becomes a reminder of your resilience, your courage, and your potential. When you learn to transform rejection into strength, you not only move closer to your dreams, but you also evolve into a stronger, wiser, and unstoppable version of yourself.